you're in control, you're winning, your plan is working to perfection. And then, in a fraction of a second, the entire world changes. What do you do when the fight you planned for isn't the fight you're in?
Steel and shadow, fists fly high, breaking through limits, I reach for the sky. Martial instincts, power my stride. Fight principles guiding my fight.
Welcome to the Fight Principles, the podcast where we break down the strategies of combat sports, martial arts, and apply them to the biggest fight of all, life. And right now I want you to picture this, okay? You're in the center of a UFC octagon. The lights are bright, the crowd is like a dull roar. You're a striker, a sniper. Yeah? Your game plan is to stay on the outside, use your reach, land your jab, chop away at your opponent's legs. Perfect game plan. And for the first 3 minutes of the round, it's working flawlessly. Yeah, you're landing your shots, your opponent's frustrated, they swing wild, you elegantly slip out of the way. You can feel it. The momentum is on your side. You're executing your blueprint to perfection. And then it happens. You throw a punch, you see a blur of motion, your opponent isn't swinging back, they drop their entire body weight, disappearing from your eye level. It's a level change. And in that split second, a dozen calculations fire through your brain. He's shooting for a takedown. My hips need to go back. My hands need to find an underhook. My feet need to be wider. Oh my God, all those things. And the fight's no longer a comfortable Muay Thai fight at like a distance. It's a desperate, a close quarter wrestling match against the fence. The entire context of the fight, the very ground rules you were operating under for the last 3 minutes have been completely rewritten in an instant. And your perfect blueprint has just become confetti. And here's the thing. This very scenario, this sudden, jarring, unexpected level change that happens to us every single day outside of the cage. You're a project manager at a company that you love. You have a 5-year plan. You know the steps for your next promotion. You're executing the game plan. Then, Tuesday morning, email lands in your inbox. Your company has been acquired, or a new piece of AI software has just automated 60% of your daily tasks. That also is a level change. You're in a stable, happy relationship. You have routines, you share jokes, your plans for the future. Then you get a phone call. An aging parent is sick and needs to move in with you. Or one of you gets an incredible job offer in a city 1,000 miles away. That is a level change. It's the market shift that disrupts your small business. It's the unexpected health diagnosis that changes your entire perspective on life. It's any moment, big or small, where the reality you prepared for is suddenly replaced by a new and unfamiliar and often uncomfortable one. Now, you were planning for a stand-up fight, and life just hits you with a takedown. So the question we're going to tackle today is the most important one there is. When your reality suddenly shifts beneath your feet, what is the principle that allows you to survive and eventually win? And the first and most common reaction to an unexpected level change in the cage and in life is denial. It's a flash of anger and frustration. In the octagon, you see it all the time. A striker gets taken down and they look at the referee almost like with a sense of injustice, like, hey, this isn't what I want to be doing. Like, what is this even? Is this even legal? I should be knocking this guy out on the feet. Yeah, they're so mentally fixated on the fight they wanted, they fail to engage in the fight they are in. And they get controlled. They lose the round, or worse, they get submitted. And in life, we do the exact same thing. Yet this shouldn't be happening. This isn't fair. My plan was perfect. Why did this have to go in the wrong way now? We burn an incredible amount of energy and mental focus resisting the new reality. And we complain about the acquisition of the company. We resent the new AI software. We fight against the change instead of fighting within the change. So the first principle, our first fight principle of this episode is you must accept the new reality instantly and without judgment. This is not about being passive and just saying yes to everything. This is not about liking the change. It's about conserving your energy for what matters. A fighter doesn't have time to get angry about a takedown. They have to use every ounce of their focus to defend it. So when life shoots on you, the most powerful thing you can do is to take a breath and say, okay, this is what we're doing now. Yeah, Nate Diaz, all right, we're throwing spinning shit now. Acceptance isn't surrender. Acceptance is engagement. It's acknowledging the takedown so you can start working on your defense. Because you can't escape a position you refuse to admit you're in. Yeah, so one more time, acceptance does not equal surrender. You're accepting me in a bad position, and now we're going to fight out of it. Okay, so you've accepted the level change. You're not wasting energy complaining. Now what? And that brings me to the second principle. You must be willing to activate a different skill set. A great MMA fighter is never just a striker or just a grappler. They are a fighter. They have different toolkits for different situations. When the fight hits the mat, for example, their striking brain goes quiet and the grappling brain takes over, so to speak. They have to be willing to stop doing what they're best at and start doing what is necessary. Doing this requires a huge amount of humility. And you might be like a world-class kickboxer, but if the fight goes to the ground, you have to be humble enough to become a beginner in jiu-jitsu for a moment. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable and to be in a position of weakness. And this is where we so often fail in life. We get attached to our identity. I'm a marketing director, not a data analyst. I'm a creative, not a manager. We're so in love with our A game that when life demands we play our B game, we freeze up. And that new software that just automated part of your job, it's demanding you to activate your learning and adapting skill set. That new family situation is demanding you activate your patience and empathy skill set. Even if you would be more comfortable with your logical and organized skill set. The lesson from the fighter here is this. Your identity is not your current strength. Your identity is your ability to adapt. You're not a striker or a grappler. You're a fighter. In life, you're not a job title. You're a problem solver. You're a learner. You're an adapter. So being willing to switch to a different toolkit, even one you're not as good with, is the key to surviving the immediate danger so you can live to, fight another day. And this brings me to the third and final principle of this episode. You've accepted a new reality. You've activated the necessary skills to deal with the new immediate threat. Now you can focus on number 3. Fight to get back to your strength. And when a fighter gets taken down and pinned against the fence, their goal isn't to become a world-class wrestler in that moment. Their goal is to just use enough wrestling defense to achieve one thing: get back to their feet. They use the fence to wall walk, for example, to create space, to slowly, painfully work their way back to a standing position where they can use their best weapons again. They don't stay down there and say, well, I guess I'm a wrestler now, right? They use their defensive skills as a bridge to get back to their offensive skills. And this is the hopeful and the empowering part of the whole process. You get the news about the company acquisition. You accepted it. You activated your learning skills to understand the new corporate structure and technology. Now, you don't just stay in that defensive crouch. You start looking for ways to use your core strength within this new reality. You start looking for opportunity. How can your marketing expertise be even more valuable in this new, larger company? How can you use your leadership skills to help your team navigate the change? You use your new defensive knowledge to create a stable base, and then you start fighting your way back to the center of the cage. You fight back to get to a position where you can win. So this isn't about stubbornly trying to force your old plan. It's about intelligently navigating the new landscape to find the place where your strengths are once again dominant. You survive the takedown, not to become a grappler, but to get back to your feet and remind everyone that you're a world-class striker. So let's bring it all together. Life, like a fight, is unpredictable. It will change levels on you. It will shoot for a takedown when you're preparing to strike. And in those intense moments, your success or failure will hinge on these 3 fight principles that we just discussed. Number 1, accept the new reality instantly. Don't waste a single drop of energy on denial or frustration. Doesn't help. To quote Max Holloway, famous UFC champion, current BMF champion in the UFC at the time of recording, it is what it is. The situation is what it is. Engage with it. Second, activate a different skill set. Be humble enough to put your favorite tools down and pick up the ones that are necessary for your survival. You're more than just your A game. And 3, the third fight principle, fight to get back to your strength. Use your defensive skills as a bridge. Survive the bad position so you can navigate back to a place where you can thrive. Because one more time, the goal is not just to survive the takedown. The goal is to get back up, put your hands up, and win the fight. So this week's challenge could be, this. Just notice. Notice the level changes in your life, big and small. The meeting that gets derailed, the traffic jam that ruins your schedule, the unexpected feedback from a loved one. And when it happens, instead of getting frustrated, just run through the principles in your head. Okay, this is happening. What skill do I need right now? Patience, listening, problem solving. And how can I use that skill to get back to a place of strength? The more you practice this, the less scary those level changes become. They stop being terrifying disruptions and start becoming what they actually really are. Just another part of the fight. That's all for this episode of Fight Principles. Thank you so much for being here again. I appreciate it. If you found any value in this, please do consider subscribing to the podcast wherever you're listening. Share with a friend who's navigating some sort of level change of their own, maybe right now. You can, of course, also follow the show on social media at Fight Principles, anywhere you're spending your social time. Until then, keep your hands up, or protect yourself at all times, and we talk soon. Saudi Cup.
Steel and shadow, fists fly high, breaking through limits, I reach for the sky. Martial instincts, power my stride. Fight principles guiding my fight.